But more to the point of our interest, Smyrna was also one of the early places to sponsor Caesar worship. It readily accepted Caesar worship, and in 196 BC, so this is a couple of centuries before the period that we're going to be watching in John's period, the Smyrnians erected a temple to Dea Roma, the goddess of Rome. And because of that, they won the contest, so to speak, to build this temple to Tiberius in 26 AD. The worship of the emperor was compulsory. Now, for most people, this was a token gesture. Each year, a Roman citizen had to burn a pinch of incense on the altar and acknowledge publicly that Caesar was supreme lord. Now, this was simply an action they took to be primarily a political one, because every individual in the empire could worship whatever gods they wanted to, because they had all kinds of tribes and cultures that they had conquered. But what they wanted to do is get everyone to acknowledge that Caesar's number one. That was their way of having them express a commitment to Caesar above all others. And so it was just a way of unifying and integrating the many elements of the empire. But, and if you did that, you go up there and you put a pinch of whatever it is into the fire, you received a formal document that you had done so each year. And that was a very important certificate politically. Now, this was, unfortunately, a very vital test for a Christian. And there were many Christians that went ahead and did that just to avoid trouble. But Christians who were serious about Jesus Christ had a problem. They refused to go and put this pinch of incense in the fire, and that caused them to be burned at the stake, in effect, willingly. Because all they had to do to avoid being burned at the stake is put a pinch of stuff in the fire. But not in good conscience, because if Jesus Christ is Lord, Caesar isn't. And so those that refused were made an example of, either by being burned at the stake or fed to the lions or whatever.